I've got a Sleep Number bed, and the pump I've been having a hard time with because you can see these little ports right here on each side. They're for the hoses to come back, and I thought maybe those did something besides just take a pressure reading. But you can see the port, I don't know if you can see in there, but it's blocked off. And they just have these little ports right here that take the pressure, the air line, and it just converts it to that small, up to these small little pressure sensors on the board. Now I thought surely it does something besides that, but it doesn't. All it does is take a pressure reading. So I saw a lot of YouTube videos where guys had basically taken their ends and glued them back in there. I could probably take that out, put epoxy on it, glue it back where it goes. But I thought that's just going to break, so I just fabricated something a little different. Since all it does is take pressure readings, and rather than putting that really rigid hose back in there, you can see I basically took a step bit and drilled these holes on the outsides out big enough to accommodate these little brass elbows. And then I screwed in a 3/16 by 1/4 inch mel pipe barb fitting on this end, and this end is a 1/8 barb by 1/4 inch mel pipe. And that accommodates these little silicone tubes just right. So you can see kind of how that will go together. So I'm going to put these back in there, and then I took some thinner line. So you can see here, I took a couple of barb fittings. This one is a 3/8 by 1/4 inch mel pipe, a coupler, and a 1/4 inch pipe by 3/16. And I found some 1/4 inch line that slides over the barb really nice and tight. And this 1/4 inch line has a 55 psi working pressure. So I wanted to be sure that when I put this back on the bed, this is pretty rigid, so you can see it won't crush or anything like that, because with this, my only concern is it gets pinched or compressed and then it won't let the pressure go through to take a reading. So I put this together like this, so you basically hook this back up to the mattress. It gets you out of the mattress and back under the bed, and then you have this other piece of 1/4 inch line that's very pliable, so it's easy to move around. And that just connects back in on here. And once you push them together, it doesn't come apart, so you got to just make sure you have it where you want it. But my hypothesis is once this goes back together, it will be a substantially better system and a lot stronger, and I'll be able to move stuff around under the bed. No one ever really seems to have a problem with these fittings. It always seems to be these two when I was watching YouTube that broke off. I bought all these parts at Lowe's for about $35. You could probably use plastic or something else, but I wanted something I'm not going to have to mess with, so I made it out of the brass stuff, and it's what was available. So I'm going to put this back into these little grooves, hook everything back up, and install my air lines, and then I'll hook it up to my bed, and I'll let you guys know how it works. But this should be a much better setup than what we previously had. So this is what the finished product looks like. You can see I have them all connected up, and then here are my hoses that go back to the bed, and you can kind of see how I did that there, and they go back around and come back into here. So I'll probably clean up the pipe dope and stuff a little better and run some air through them just to make sure I don't have any debris in the hose. And then I'm going to install it in the bed, and we'll see how this works.